imagine Uber. Take the analogy of Uber.
Okay.
There are three components to any company, right? There are the investors and the founders and the employees. There are the users, and then there's sort of the entity of the company itself. I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you how if Uber was to decentralized launch a token, it would be superior for every single one of those parties. And as I talked about earlier with the Hill and convincing enterprises, if it's beneficial for every party, then it will happen. So I think this is what's going to enable sort of Web3 utility. So let me explain what I mean. So say there's a small company called Uber, and then they start, and then they instead of not launching a token like they did in our real world, they launched a token. Now they have a token. This is better for the founders and the investors. Pretty simply, they have earlier access to liquidity at an ICO or an IDO, which happens in 2 years instead of an IPO at 10. So you have faster access to liquidity and return on your investment, which speeds up innovation by 5 times, from 10 years to 2. Okay, so it's better for the founders and the investors. Okay, but how is that better for the users? It's better for the users because early users are actually able to benefit and grow with the company. So if I say buy instead of Uber Cash, which is what they have now, which is sort of a fiat token, they actually have a token that can appreciate in value. And so early users are rewarded, which, by the way, also benefits the company. Uber fought for 5 years to get approved in Frankfurt and in Bogota and in Lao to get the taxi unions to win there. But guess what? If they had a token, they could have aligned incentives with their users so that their users could have been their marketers and that the government officials there would have actually had a way to benefit. The taxi unions could have actually easily purchased a part of Uber to hedge their bets. So you're actually able to align incentives in a fractional way. That's how it's better for the company. It basically, hypothetically, and we haven't actually seen this, you have a way for the small, unknown, great companies to rise to the top. And you're able to have a faster acceleration than Uber fighting against any of them. And it's better for the users also at the end of the day. So it's better for the early users because they can appreciate and grow alongside the company. It's also better for the users when the token stops growing. And sort of you'll see, hypothetically, again, see a growth like this, and eventually the token will not grow anymore, or it'll grow at the discount rate, which is 5% a year. Sort of like it'll represent their share value. It's beneficial for them because they can pay 50% less because the founders and the investors have already earned their investment. So now it's a DAO, it's owned by everyone, meaning Uber doesn't need to charge 50% fees, which means it goes right to the driver who earns more, the employees. The consumer pays more. And by the way, a little bonus, you're not paying 3% in Visa fees because it's a blockchain.